This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. So we're back up into this resistance zone, and we didn't get all the way back up here into X marks the spot, just like we didn't get up into the upper edge of this channel back over here. So I'm not too concerned about that. What is really interesting is back on September 1st, I talked a bunch about the range from this low to this high compared to the range from this low to this high. So I've got another comparison that I just want to crunch the numbers a little bit. So let me show you this, because I really thought we would just be staying lower, but apparently we're going to put in another similarity. So today's high is 35.2809, and the high on September 1st is 35.20. Oops, gonna hit the minus. 35.27.9. You go back over here, the high on, what day is that? This day, come on. This day was June 24th and June 22nd. Okay, so June 24th, the high was 35.24.86, and the high on June 22nd was 35.23.78, $1.08. Like seriously, to the penny, it was a penny off from this high to this high, going this day being a little bit higher, June 24th being a little bit higher, and then today being $1.09 higher than 3 days ago, 3 trading days ago. Anyway, there's some really crazy similarities going on here. And when these things show up, I mean, we got to pay attention, right? So from this low to these highs was so similar to this high, this low to these highs. If we go higher from here, I think we'll close this gap and make this into a double top and totally retest and close, and see if we can roll over from up here, or at least pull back a little bit, kind of like this was a 3-day little flag here. If we roll over, just like we did a couple days ago, and go back, we did actually touch the 5 and bounce, but if we can pull back into the 21 or into the 100, I think we'll set up some real similarities to this going sideways for maybe a week or so, and then have some momentum build up, maybe get a squeeze forming, and really start to move higher. I think over time, it'll go higher. This is a really strong gap. It's still a really, it's still an open gap, but it's still a really strong gap down. But Amazon just looks really strong with this rally. So I want to keep that perspective of there's some real resistance going on here, and seeing, today take out the high of 3 days ago by $1.09, so similar to this day taking out this high by $1.08. Some bearishness came in before some more bullishness. So I just want to be cautious about that and not just say, okay, yeah, we're in, we're confirmed. Obviously we've had a huge run up. It needs some time to rest, but it doesn't have to. I mean, these 4 days, it's a rest. I mean, this is a flag pattern, and now we're breaking out. That's the bullish perspective. So maybe we fast forward to these 3 days, and maybe we did that, over here last time, and then today is kind of like this day, and then tomorrow will be a really large bull candle, and we'll get this gap closed, get up to 3,600, and even higher this week. Entirely possible. So from where we are right now, I can see both things playing out, but I got a little more edge on the bearish side. All right, so that's it for the daily. If we jump back into the 5 minutes, so we had a really nice rally. We were kind of riding the 5, but making some of these dips. We had a really nice 20-minute sell-off here, and then continued on higher. And it took a long time before we actually got into the oversold portion of the RSI. So we spent a lot of time just rallying and continuing to stay up here. And so when we were doing this, and we weren't really pulling back to the 21 or pulling through it. I mean, this barely touched it here. We did touch it again here. I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're going to have a little pop, a little push higher, like we've done some days, which we did here, and higher volume. So this was kind of the exhaustion volume at this point, and get a bigger pullback. We just didn't get very much of a bigger pullback. We did pull back some from here to here and actually into the end of the day, but it wasn't huge. There were ways to play it. But you could have been in riding this up bullish for a good chunk of the day too. I could have been doing both of those actually, not at the same time. But this is the 35.50 call. So at one point we were only about 25 points away from it, and we were putting in some kind of relative highs, making slightly higher highs, some smaller candles in here, give you some opportunity to buy off of the 21. Let me zoom back out here. So right here, this candle, this hammer matches up with this one. Not necessarily bracketing this candle, but buying as it pulls into the 21 here and again over here, and looking for that support to hold until it doesn't and comes right on through the 21. But you still had some opportunities to either get out for break even as it retested, or to flip and be looking for a move with getting into like the 34.50 put and having, each of these would have been opportunities to get an R or a couple of Rs or just to scalp something. Like I said, we've had a really nice run over a number of days here. And if you're not in earlier on in the day, you've got to be really picking those pullbacks to get into. Like this one I mentioned first, this 20 minutes of selling, it came right back and retested into the earlier high. You can see the same kind of setup on the call where we pulled back for 20 minutes, and then we bounced. You wouldn't be bracketing this candle, but it came right back into this hammer. You can look for an option maybe a little further away with a smaller range so that you could get into something for $1 risk. Or wait till you get some smaller candles like this one here, which was right at $1, and bracket this one. This would have been getting in about 13 and a stop at 12. That wouldn't be the exact numbers, but if you got in at 13, you're looking for 16 as a target, and it worked. It would have worked to do that. And even this candle pulling back into 13, into the range of this candle right here. So those were some of the opportunities that popped up today. And then on the bear side, as this starts to roll down, you've got some of these confluences happening where not as much on this call, but earlier here you had some of this double top with kind of that retest shape over here, a little bit early because we did end up making another high right here, but being patient for these kind of things to roll over later in the day. We had that happen some of the time last week, and I was in some of those bearish trades looking to get in. So this option made a really nice base around like 550, 6 in that range. You could have been buying around 6 with a stop down at 5 at this point later on here. And that would have been a great setup to just scalp an R on its way down a little bit, just getting in at 6 and getting out at 7. Or maybe buying a little bit lower, like 575 and getting out at 7, or maybe even 750 here. Yeah, maybe. So there were some opportunities to just scalp bearish coming back down a little bit here. And there were definitely ways to play off of the 21 on its way up as well. So like I said, if we can go higher, if we can get a move up tomorrow, then we'll see, maybe some of this be a level to retest, like retesting into these highs. We'll probably be looking at an option a little bit further away if we do end up going up higher. If we do end up pulling back some more, we could retest some of these levels from below. So on the call, we might have something retest and run up to say 10 or 11 here, which we had some good support level coming in right here, and again right here at 12, and then again right here at 14. And we did retest back into 14 right here before going lower. So, this option has been working well, showing some supports and some resistances as it's moved. This one, not as much. You had a little bit of it earlier in the day where you had a low of around 9, and then you came back up and retested just below that. We just didn't get back up into that again later in the day. Even though it was rolling over, this was this price here. We almost made it back there on the stock, but we didn't actually get anywhere near 9. later in the day on the option. So that just shows you how much premium is getting sucked out. It is a short week, so be careful if you are trading this week's options to know your risk. And yeah, it's just one less day to kind of adjust to things. So looking at next week's monthly expirations would probably be a little bit better. Maybe we'll look at those for another video later this week. So I hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.